Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of the Grimaldo Group, where we love helping families create wealth through real estate. And we are honored to have today with us Jesse James Vargas. He's actually in Miami right now, if I'm not mistaken. And I've known Jesse for several years, ever since we were kids. I know his parents, his family, and he has taken the time to be with us today here at the Grimaldo Group. We love uh, being in touch or working in unison or being surrounded by like-minded individuals with that desire to create positive impacts in people's lives. And Jesse, how are you today?
Good morning to you and to audience. I'm doing great today. I appreciate the opportunity for being here with you guys. I know the Grimaldo Group and yourself are doing a very good job with the community, helping people, achieve their dreams and get to the dream house and get stable. And it's very important for our community, for Hispanic community, and for everybody, that wants to achieve those goals. So I'm happy to be present today and be able to share my experience.
And you're in Miami, correct?
I'm in Miami, Florida. That is correct.
Miami,
Miami, right?
Florida. So he's also Puerto Rican, such as me. So eat a lot of rice and beans and pork, roasted pork, and so on.
Please
He
forgive
goes back
us.
and forth to Puerto Rico all the time, right?
That is correct. Forgive us for, everybody can be perfect. That's the way we say it. But yes, I travel because I do business in Florida and Puerto Rico, different states. And I have clients. I also have agents that work in different states, also in the Puerto Rico territory. Plus, my family is there, so I go visit often. And it is part of the flexibility of the kind of work that I do that allows me to do those things.
And the reason why we're talking is because uh, you are in an industry that creates positive impacts to people, as we mentioned earlier, as when we began the show, and that really excites me when you are making these positive changes in people's lives when you present to them. You're a life coach, is that
I'm a
correct?
life coach. I'm a life coach, and also I'm an insurance broker. And what happens is people have not too much of an idea of what that entitles you to. What is that we do for families? They only think about of a product or a company or a service. There, I've seen in my experience that they are not educated as far as what all the products that we provide to the community do for the families, and that's one of the things that we are very aggressive on doing, which is educating families about the benefits of the products and services that we provide in the financial services field, which is a big variety of products.
Now, the company you're affiliated with is People Helping People, correct?
That is correct. That is what we call our parent company. That's a company that covers us with their umbrella of contracts. They provide to us, the contract with all variety of insurance companies and eventually a few companies that we have under contract. So that gives us an opportunity to help people better. And what we mean by that is that 90% of the people who work in our field, they work what they call a captive. Captive means they only work for one single company. And when they talk to a client, they can only offer the products and services that that company has. So they are limited into that. And in
So
our
that
case, it's really different.
so that's just to kind of for since we're in the real estate industry, just to put some a little bit of understanding, at least in my mind. So it's kind of like when you need to refi a house and you either go straight to your bank that you choose, and the bank is only going to be able to produce or provide you the services that they have.
That is
Whereas if you
correct.
go to a mortgage broker, they will be able to seek out various different companies to get you the best possible product for that refi. Whereas in this case, People Helping People, by the way, that name really caught my eye because that makes it even something more special with the name of the company, People Helping People. So with People Helping People, you are a broker with access to various carriers
That
that
is that
provide
is correct.
insurance
That is
services.
correct. Your analogy is perfect. It basically explains in simple words, what we do. And when we see with a family, with a client, we see what is the need that they have for their family. whether in coverage, whether in the retirement, whether it is, creating a fund for their kids' education, whether they want to have their kids with a policy that they would carry with them in the older years, and it's going to be very economic. So it's a lot of products. When a client has that necessity, we go into all the carriers that are in contract with us, and then we try to get them the best product for their need, instead of us trying to push just one product or one service because we're limited to one single company. So that's an advantage for our clients. We're very happy to provide that service. And in reality, we've seen the results, and our clients are very happy with the service that we're providing.
And you are operating in various states, correct? Not just Florida.
That is correct. I'm in Florida. That's my home base. Right now, I have clients in 10 different states plus Puerto Rico. We're in New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island, North Carolina, South Carolina, Nevada, Texas, California, Arizona, Virginia,
Wow.
Puerto Rico. So there's several states that we're licensed that we work with.
So you have to be licensed to be operating in all these states, correct?
That is correct. You need to have a license for every single state that you have clients. You can have, if you have a license in one state, that don't grant you permission to deal and to do business with clients in different states. You have to be licensed by every single state. Even if it's one client that you have to go through the protocol of every single state and be licensed in that state in order to do business.
Now, why do you do this? What do you get out of doing what you do?
Well, for me, in a personal level, I wrote a book from Joe Jordan. It's called A Life of Significance. And I said, what an interesting book. And when you sell a product, I've been in sales all my life, and you could do a lot of things in sales, right? You could sell anything: cars, home products, beauty products. You could sell a lot of things, but no product has more impact in the world and in families than the products that we provide. And when something happens, when inevitable happens, right? Because there's one day that our time expires on this side of the realm, right? And we have to go. And what we leave behind is extremely important. And you see, it is sad to see the amount of GoFundMes that you see going up every single day. It is sad the amount of car wash that you see being done every single day, just because a family don't have a policy in place. Something that with just a couple dollars, just with the money that you save on coffee or anything, you would have leave your family a legacy that will perpetuate that family, and they will leave them in a better position. So when we sit with a family and we educate them on the importance of being protected, on the importance of covering yourself, and especially in this day and age when insurance policies come with a lot of benefits that before you didn't have. Like before, in order to make benefits of a policy, you need to pass for your family to receive something. These days, with living benefits, where you're covered for critical illness, chronic illness, and also you're covered even for critical accident. If something happened to you where you are alive and you cannot go to work because of a critical condition, then your policy kicks in and you start receiving money from your policy where you are alive. So that keeps your family going. That keeps you, paying your bills. That keeps the light on. That keeps everything running as if you were working. And that's the purpose of the new policies. There's 102 million Americans with no coverage right now. And the ones that have coverage, they have it through their work where they have no living benefits. And if you see the amount of coverage that they have, that barely covers the cost of funeral. So what we do is transcendent. You don't want to, when you serve a client, you hope that client goes through the entire years of their policy and they never have to use the policy, right? But when it comes to time that you want to be there for them and you have to be present to bring that check to their family, you make a huge difference in that family.
It is a huge difference. I mean, people are eager to purchase a home. Everyone wants a piece of the American dream, so to speak. But I like the fact that you're bringing forth the ability to preserve that American dream, not only to obtain it, but to maintain. To obtain is one thing, to maintain is another. So I think the traditional life insurance would probably put people like, why would I get it if I die? They're not going to give me anything until I die. But you brought a good point that God forbid, say for example, you're a UPS driver or a post office, or you work with aircraft at the airport, and you're the main breadwinner, and you just purchased a beautiful home for your family. You have a 30-year mortgage, but God forbid something happens to you where you don't pass away. You get severely injured and you're out of work for 4, 5, 6, 7 months. Who knows, maybe more. And with living benefits, they will be able to get a portion of their life insurance, correct?
That is correct. And we said before, we have testimonies of a business person. He has one policy, it was about 1.5 million. And he got a heart attack just 3 months after he got his policy, and he got a check, for over $200,000, and that was just living benefits. So imagine when you are sick, right? You're the breadwinner for your family. On top of that, you stop working because of the circumstances. Now you're ill. You cannot provide for your family. The expenses of your family triple. So you have more expenses. You have no money coming in because you're the breadwinner, you cannot work. And on top of that, you're dealing with an illness that you have to recover. And when you're in that kind of stress, it's extremely hard to recover. So what insurance do is give us peace of mind. And that's exactly what I do. And when we insure something, what we're doing is we're transferring risk. So when I insure my phone, I'm transferring the risk to the insurance company that if my phone breaks or gets to go to swim, right? The insurance will cover it. The same thing we do with a car. When we pay a car insurance and the house insurance, is we are transferring risk to the insurance company saying, look, for a monthly payment, you're going to assume all the risk. So we tend to protect the house in case it gets burned. We protect the car in case we get in an accident. We protect our phone in case it decides to go swimming, right? But we don't protect ourselves, that we are the ones who pay the phone, pay the house, pay the car, and do everything for the families. And it's very interesting because you see families and you see people saying, I would do anything for my family. They work 60 hours for their family, 80 hours, but they're not willing to have an insurance for a couple dollars to protect their family. So that makes no sense to me. I understand there is a lack of culture in a lot of families, including the Latino family. And once we sit with them, we are, I have a team of agents nationwide. I have agents in New York, New Jersey, Florida, and Arizona. We're growing, and in California, Texas. We have several agents, and we call it the Great Coalition. Mm-hmm. And we are forming a coalition of educators, which is people who sit with families, and we sit with them and having a kitchen table presentation, just talking about life and talking about the things that are the way nature is, right? At one point, we there's 2 days that we have guarantees in this life. It's the day that we come in and a day that we're going to go out. We don't know what day that's going to be, but we have to be prepared. We can't ignore it because there's something that is coming our way, right? So we might be prepared, and if we are in charge of our family, right? Not by a title, right? Some people say, I'm the head of the family. Are you in practice the head of the family? Are you assuming the responsibility of the head of the family? My responsibility with my kids is to be protected. And as the head of the family, I need to make sure that if I'm missing, they're going to miss my presence. They're going to miss the emotional part, but making sure they're not going to miss the financial support.
Very important.
Even when I'm not present, they're going to have the financial support as if I was present. And that's such a powerful message. When you pass and your family says, my mom, my dad, they love us so much that they make sure that even after they're gone, we are protected and we are supplying our needs.
Yes, because again, going back to the many families, you have so many millennials in the population today actively in the real estate market purchasing homes. But I've asked a few, do you have any life insurance now that you have these assets? The most important asset is the roof over your head for you and your family. And surprisingly, they've said, no, we haven't even given it thought, but we do have a house. But again, these are conversations that come out. And I'm surprised with the fact that there are so many people out there that either one, they have never given any thought, or two, they've spoken about it, but not acted in actively
Pursue
purchase
it.
them,
Mhm.
pursue it. But yet, like you said, they'll have the nice fancy phone and get the insurance for it. They'll have the nice fancy car, get the insurance for it, and everything's insured but themselves and their family. And then the younger group, like the millennials, if they were to take the time, and I hope they do, those that are listening, and they can see how inexpensive it can be at their age to get a good policy. So,
That is correct. One of the people, one of the things that I find that we find every single day is people say, I didn't thought that this was going to be inexpensive, right? They have an idea that, insurance is going to be expensive. And then when we sit with them and then we check what is their needs that they have for coverage, they say, you know what, this is just maybe $1, $2 a day in a month that we spend on coffee, and I could cover my family for $250,000, $500,000, and having living benefits for such a minimal amount. And I get that response very often, and on people when we sit with them. One of the things that we do is we help people with retirement, and people don't know this, but one of the biggest expenses that we're going to have when we retire are going to be taxes. So if you have all your retirement, all your money for retirement, you have it in accounts that are still to be tax accounts, you may be running into trouble. This is not the moment. We're not living on an age where you should have your money in still to be tax accounts. Call it 401k accounts, 403bs, or money markets, or mutual funds. A lot of those funds, when you have all your money in still to be tax accounts, you're running a big risk, mainly because you have a open contract with the government. When we have a 401k account, we're saying to the government, we have an open contract with you. When I retire, you charge me whatever tax you feel comfortable charging me. That's basically what we're doing. And the financial scenario in which we have the highest debt ever in the history of this country, in the trillions of dollars, close to $30 trillion last time I checked. And majority of the budget, of the money that comes to the government, it gets spent in Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. The rest of the government runs with a very small portion of whatever is left. And we haven't talked yet about the immense debt that we have. Yes. So how do you think the United States government is going to pay for the debt that we have? There's only one way, and that is raising taxes. They're already doing that into the estate tax, into capital gains. Mm-hmm. And this is not a political speech. This is just a financial speech, right? And whenever you make a move, and whenever you create laws, or whatever, the government decided they're going to raise taxes because they need to cover their spending, who's paying for those taxes? It's you and it's me. And when we retire, when we are the most vulnerable, is when we need to make sure that we are protecting. If all your assets are in yet to be tax accounts, you're running yourself a big risk, because we've seen before taxes of 50, 60, 70% before. This is not something new. And I always tell my clients, be prepared for retirement. Make sure you're in charge of your retirement account. If you read your Social Security letter in the small print, and it says by 2030, it is a possibility that the Social Security fund may run out of money. Yes. That is not something predictable. No. If you're thinking, and if you're looking for your Social Security when you grow old, and then you get hit with a surprise that there's no funds, and that is happening for several reasons. Number one, for the spending. We're already in debt to the Social Security. And number two, because every time you have less people putting money into Social Security, everybody's going independent. The new generation are not working in W-2s. Now they're doing their own money. They're creating their own money. They don't want to work for nobody. So you have a lot of people depending on Social Security, and you have less people every day supporting Social Security with their payment. So that's increasing that crisis that we already have. So that's one of the things that we do for families. We protect them. We help them to create, retirement accounts that are independent. And above all, if they have money in yet to be tax accounts, we help them to move those resources to accounts that are contractually guaranteed not to lose a dollar, but they could still participate in some of the profits of the market.
Awesome. Those are awesome products that you provide through it's PHP, correct?
Yes, it's true. To the carriers that we have, and what the agency do for us is they have all the contracts with the carriers, and it's about 15 companies of the.
You mentioned some of these carriers because
yes, we have, for example, we have AIG, which is one of the biggest in the world, probably. Lincoln Financial, you have John Hancock, you have Fidelity and Guaranty, you have Mutual of Omaha, you have Foresters. Foresters have been around for 165 years. You have National Life Group. National Life Group has paid a policy for people who died in the Titanic, just part of this. Right? So we deal with carriers that most of them are over 100 years old. They are A+ kind of companies, and we are proud of the business partners that we have. With the partnership that we have with the carriers, and the agency provide us the contract with all those companies, so we could, when we see a client, we could see what their need is, and then we go to all the carriers and we see, let me check what carrier has the best product based on the need that you have.
Interesting. Now, going back to you, since we've been talking about millennials and we've been talking about, I think you mentioned baby boomers, if I'm not mistaken. But if you can place yourself in a time machine and go back maybe 20, 30 years ago, what would you tell yourself? You get off the machine, the time machine, you're back 20, 30 years ago, and you see yourself, what would you tell yourself?
Well, if I could do that, yeah, that's wishful thinking, right? We wish we could go back and do with the experience that we have. But you cannot buy experience when you're young. But one thing that I would say to anybody that is young, make sure you read more. Make sure you become an avid reader. Reading books, we put you in a position way ahead of your years, because the wisdom that you acquire by reading, if you check every CEO around, they read a lot of books. A lot of CEOs read about one book per week. So there's a lot of wisdom in books, and available. This information, people like to go to a video and get everything digest. I would say to myself, I'm an avid reader right now as an adult, right? And because of the industry in which I am, I have to read a lot. I have to be updated and read about different subjects, strategies, dealing with clients, dealing with retirement, all those things. I also read things that fulfill my soul, my spirit, right? You could say read the Bible if that's something, we're not getting into religious conversation here, but read. If I would say something to the young generation, read as much as you can. That's the number one thing. And the second advice that I would give you is invest in relationships as much as you can. Invest time. Time is not spent with people that you feel comfortable with. Time is invested in long-term relationships. And we know each other. And I'm going to say this, right? Angel's father used to be the pastor of my family when we used to live in New Jersey. Back when I moved to New Jersey, that was 48 years ago. Right? I know I look 20. That's what happens to Puerto Ricans, right? We look young, and don't let us get that way. But I'm 49, going to 50, and that's how long I know Angel. It's 48 years. And then we invest in relationship. Relationship is everything. Look where we are now. We're having this conversation. We're supporting each other, and only God knows. So invest in relationships. That's the best thing you could do. And read a lot of books. That's the best advice I would have given myself when I was younger.
I was listening to Patrick Bet-David recently, in his infotainment channel. And one of the interviews, he was talking about if you want to succeed in life, know who to be surrounded, who you're surrounding yourself with. And then one of the things, since you're mentioning books, he says, there are 4 subjects. So there is obviously, human nature, and then there's the money, and then there education. I can't remember the 4th one, but he says get 20 books of each of these 4 separate subjects, 20 of the best sellers of these subjects, and read them and reread them. I think reread them again. and you're going to see a difference in your life.
I think I saw that video from Patrick. Actually, if you could check Valuetainment on YouTube, it's the #1 channel for entrepreneurs. He wrote a book that is called Your Next 5 Moves, and it was #1 book for business people in the New York Times. But one of the things that he said is, if you want to learn any subject, get 20 books of that subject, the best book with the best reviews. And one of the things that when you said about surrounding yourself, this is crucial for life and relationships. We are the result of the 5 closest people to us.
Yes.
We are the result of the 5 closest people to us. And one thing that I always say, especially to younger people, even to adults, because we never stop growing and learning, is make sure to protect your mind, because no mind is immune to their environment.
Yes.
No mind is immune to their environment. If you start surrounding yourself with negative people, sooner or later, you're going to follow that path.
Yes.
But if you start surrounding yourself with positive people, sooner or later, you're going to go in that direction. And there's been several studies that say, if you want to know your income 10 years from now, check what the income of the 10 closest people to you. And that you're going to be a 10% different from that income average of the 10 people that surrounded you 10 years from now. So what he's saying is, if you surround yourself with people that make $100,000 in a year, in the next 10 years, you're going to be at 110,000 or 90,000. So your difference is going to be 10% up or less from the 10 closest people that surround you. So when people talk about relationships, and it's not that you discard people that make less than you. That's not what we're saying here. Yes. What we're saying is you need to be smart about your relations, because there's a reason why people are at certain levels in life. Yes. And if you don't respect why they're there, you cannot never think or believe that you're going to be in that position, because the first thing you need to understand is there's a lot of work. You know, the Grimaldo Group is not where it is because of nothing.
Yeah,
it's a lot of hard work from his team, from you guys that put the work, and you are where you are because of hard work and dedication. There's a lot to be learned. So when you respect that, and when you surround yourself with people that are doing things right, trust me, it gets stick to you just by being surrounded by them. Same things that, you remember our parents are always trying to care for our surroundings. Make sure you don't walk with that guy. Make sure you don't walk with that person, because we don't want you the bad habits to be attached to you, because we learn from the people that surround you. Even as adults, we keep learning, and that's the importance of the people who surround you all the time. I always looking at my circle.
Yes.
I'm trying to make sure that I surround myself with people that I could learn from them. And then I have all the group of people that are my friends, dear to my heart. We spend time together, and whatever I could do for them, I do for them. But check your circle all the time. That's another great tip of advice for young people out there. Check your circle. If they're not going higher, you shouldn't be there.
So going back to PHP, I see PHP like I'm affiliated with KW. I'm specifically affiliated with the Grimaldo Group, Juan Grimaldo being the team leader, who has a vast experience in real estate and is always encouraging us to read books and to further our knowledge in real estate, and not only real estate, but in various aspects of our lives. And then we fall under KW. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to read this book, but anyone that's interested in real estate, this is from Gary Keller. So KW and the Grimaldo Group, we are always seeking to improve. There's always room for improvement. And I believe that PHP is another company that's creating quite a positive impact in the lives of many, assisting them with insurance, life insurance, and also the annuities and all the other products you mentioned.
That is correct. And there's a lot of things that we bring into the field. We don't only help clients, right, to get financially stable. We don't only help families to be properly protected. And there's a lot of things that we bring to the table. But at the same time, we see a lot of people that are looking to get extra income for their houses. right? They're looking forward to increase the resources and add another source of income. And we are growing nationwide. As I said, we have people in different states that are working with us. They're in the process of being licensed. What we do requires a license from the state, right? It's a regulated business. But we teach you. We teach you how to do it. We teach you, how to get your license. We teach you how to deal with clients, how to help families. And we've seen a lot of people, especially with this pandemic, people don't want to work for nobody. People don't want to work for a regular job. People are valuing more independence in this day and age. People are valuing more the capacity of coming or getting out of your house whenever you feel and coming into your house whenever you feel, but that don't comes for free.
Yeah.
You have to create those conditions. And we find out that in the financial services field and with the need that we have in the market right now, those conditions are easier to create. I was working as a sales manager for 6 years. And when I got my license, I started working part-time in the field because that's all I could do. I have a responsibility working 50 hours. But about 6 months ago, I was able to get rid of my job, right? And I love the company that I was working for, my teammates and my coworkers, great people. They're like family to me. But at the same time, I have different goals in life. I have something bigger that I aspire for my family. And I say, how can I do better for my family? And when I see the opportunity, I had a friend that she showed me she showed me the ropes, right? And she said, this is what I'm doing. And she's very successful. She used to be in mortgages. And now she's a millionaire in the industry, and allow yourself to be coached. So if you're looking forward to get into something new, if you're open for opportunities, let me tell you this: the industry in which we probably need around 2 million agents total, right? The country has probably around 400,000. Yes. The need in the market is huge. There's 200 million Americans that they recognize that they need coverage for their families, and they have not appropriate coverage. You have 102 million Americans with zero coverage at all. You have 73 million baby boomers that are coming to retirement, where they have most of their assets are in accounts that are allocated at risk accounts, where they could still get hit with a market crash. And we can provide to them, secure accounts where their money will be protected contractually, where they don't lose none of the hard. Yeah. And I to make some interest. So the moment in the history of this country is the highest demand for what we do, and we're looking forward to grow. And if you are an open-minded person and you say, you know what, I would like to know more, we more than gladly will give you an rotation, no compromise on your behalf on ours. But if we could say it's a good fit for yourself and your family and you could make some money, we will be more than happy to help you and to teach you the ropes and get you involved in the industry.
So that's interesting that you brought that up. So we're not only just talking about what PHP can provide for security for families through life insurance, but you're also indicating anyone interested in potentially becoming a licensed insurance broker, they can contact you for more information, correct?
That is correct. That is correct. You have I think my phone number is showing there. And feel free to reach me either through Instagram or text or email. And my email is jjfinancialcoach@gmail.com. That will be my email. And also my Instagram account is jjfinancialcoach. And you could reach out to me. And as I said, if you're open for opportunities, we are growing. The industry has a tremendous need, and we are trying to supply the demand, but there's not enough people to do it. And the insurance companies are in a huge need of having enough agents to be able to provide the need of the market. The market is in huge need right now. We have 10,000 people daily passing the age of 59 and a half. Every single day in this country, 10,000 people cross the 59 and a half mark, which is the age and you are allowed to move your product without penalty from a 401k account to a more secure product. So there's plenty of fish on the sea. Yes. So we need fishermen, right? We need people that are eager to learn, that are eager to be coached, that are eager to put the work. And if you want to, create extra income or you want to become independent, we will be more than glad to have a conversation with you.
You're definitely describing a real estate agent. A lot of times people will see, oh, I want to become a real estate agent, and then they go and get the license. They have to pay to get the license. Then there's certain things you have to pay up front. Then they get their license, and what now? If you don't affiliate yourself with a solid company like KW, okay, and in my case, so there's KW, and then there's the Grimaldo Group, okay, and that gives you the mentorship, guidance, and the tools to, but you have to be able to want to grab these to gain access. And then it's like having a car, which I've used many times. You get a key, which is your license. You went and got the key. But if you don't open the door to the car, you're not even going to get in. And if you do get in and you just sit there and you don't turn the key on, turn the vehicle on using that key, you're not even going to turn the engine on. If you get that far, now you got to put the vehicle in drive. You got to start moving that car. And so the same goes with real estate agent. And I'm understanding that the same is going to go with an insurance broker.
That is the same example. And that's in life in general. That's in life in general. You know, you have to put the work. You know, the opportunities are out there. It depends on us. And also, who are your mentors, right? You are with the Grimaldo Group, and who's in your ear, right? Who's here in your ear talking to you? Yep. Who are you paying attention to? Who's in your corner? Who's in your advice? That's why, you know, having, you know, Patrick Bet-David as the leader of the agency, CEO. He's the CEO and founder of the agency.
I didn't know that because I watch his channel, and so I was surprised to realize that he's the CEO of PHP.
That is correct. He do a lot of work on his channel, and everybody see him as the business coach for a lot of CEOs. They follow their advice, and having the opportunity to cross a couple of words with him, which I have that blessing several times, just a couple minutes sitting with him and getting his advice and just taking it in your ear and taking it to your heart and listening to people that, you know, they have your best interest at heart. They want to see you win, and that's the people you want to surround yourself with.
He has a great story. Those of you that have not ever heard of Patrick Bet-David, I would look him up. Infotainment is his actually it's not
Valuetainment.
Valuetainment.
In YouTube, #1 channel for business people. Follow it. You have great content, and you're gonna see a various of content, right? Because he has a big audience that are looking for different, but he has from business, from doctors, from investments, from artists, from sports people. Actually, probably one of the most, if not the most viewed interview of Kobe Bryant before he passed is the one that he has with Patrick. So I would say, you guys, you know, follow the channel. Great content, and he do a yearly conference. It's called The Vault, and in those conferences, people fly from all over the world just to spend 3 days with him, pay thousands of dollars just to sit with him. So, you know, we have great leadership in the company, great vision, and they say sometimes that he's probably the Steve Jobs of financial services. And one of the missions of the agency when he started is he used to work for Morgan Stanley. And, you know, Morgan Stanley, you need to have serious cash money in order to get an appointment with them. And one of his vision was, I want to bring financial services to everybody, because everybody deserves to have someone in their corner. And that's what we are doing. You know, we are forming a team of agents that could be in the corner of the families, of the hardworking families that, you know, nobody wants to sit with them because they don't have so many thousands of dollars to invest. But we are there for everybody, you know, to help people to create a good retirement account, to make sure the policies in place, that their families are protected, that if they want to put money for retirement, their retirement is secure. So there's a lot of service that we are providing to the families, and that we feel very proud of that.
Awesome. Well, that's people helping people, right? And that's Jesse James Vargas. What a name. And then People Helping People is such a catchy name. I love it. The Grimaldo Group is always out and about helping families create wealth through real estate. And so this is a great combination.
It is.
I thank you for your time. I know you're in Florida and Miami. I hope the weather's great. The weather's beautiful here in Phoenix.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. And I appreciate your time. So I hope to see you soon. And everyone, if you have any interest in more information from Jesse, please feel free to give him a call. His name was up on the screen and number. And also, I believe his email was available.
That is correct.
So,
That is right there on the screen, jjfinancialcoach@gmail.com. I appreciate very much the invitation on behalf of the Grimaldo Group and yourself, Angel, to make this happen, and everybody involved in this. And hopefully the information that we bring to you today, it serves you well, because at the end of the day, our mission is to help the most amount of families to be protected, make sure that they're properly covered, and that you are setting aside what is needed in order to have a retirement that you deserve. And you need to make sure that by contract, you have guarantees on your retirement. So it's a pleasure for me. Thank you for the invitation. I'm very grateful.
Thank you, everyone, for being with us this few minutes with Jesse James Vargas, PHP. Thank you. Have a good one.